Hi everybody, I am Sheila, yoga teacher at the Red Wing YMCA. Welcome to Wednesday afternoon yoga. Today we have a yoga flow, and as always, whenever we practice, right, you need to do you. So I've got a practice I put together, focused on opening, creating space, and but again, if you need something different, you've got to do you. If you want to modify it anytime, modify it anytime. If you want to change up a pose and approach it differently, please do that, right? You be you. So anyhow, we are going to get started. All you need today is a mat, of course, or a towel, or you've got carpet, which is great. And otherwise, you certainly can have a block. You may want to use that at a point. Blanket for your knees, or beach towel, hand towel, whatever, right? All right, so we are going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to move my glasses so I don't end up stepping up, right? All right, now let's go ahead and come to seated. We're going to start with seated and seated on the mat today. I hope it, sometimes trying to figure out the light with these videos, I realize it's probably kind of dark right now. So hopefully it'll adjust and get brighter. Otherwise, maybe it'll be the brightest I am, right? Okay. Speaking of bright, so go ahead and find your version of easy seated. Either you can sit with your legs bent if you want. You can sit in cross-legged, legs out in front of you, whatever you want. And just to transition us all into this point, let's go ahead and just do some of those wave movements. Although, as I say, kind of the Midwest wave, right? So we wave just a little bit. All right, just a little side-to-side movement. Maybe let your head flow, let your shoulders flow. And now let's come back to center. Let's bring our hands to our shoulders. So we've got our elbows out. We're just going to bring our elbows together to touch, and then just a real opening. Okay, so let your elbows go down and around. Okay. Now take a moment and just reverse that. So you're bringing them up and then down and back. All right, so straight up the front and down and back. Straight up and down and back. All right. All right, now go ahead, release that. Just settle into your breath for a minute. Take a moment to settle into your breath. Maybe you want to just find your natural breath right away. Maybe transitioning right now is a little hectic for you. So go ahead and maybe move into that 1-to-1 breathing or that 2-to-1 breathing. And while you maybe close your eyes and settle into your breath, I'll talk just a minute and then we'll get moving more. So I had a different theme for today, right? But as life can often happen, it changes, right? And all of a sudden, it's a little topsy-turvy. And certainly, topsy-turvy isn't even a phrase you could connect with what's going on right now in Minnesota, right? So we've had some rough days. And so I changed my theme again. And I'm going to come back to a quote that I think I shared as we were moving into the solstice. And our days were going to start getting longer, and we were looking for the light. And I think when we started the whole COVID-19, I shared it, and I just find there's so many times that it's appropriate. So bear with me for again sharing it. Do not be dismayed by the brokenness in the world. All things break. And things can be mended. Things can be moved forward, right? Things can't always be fixed, but they can be moved forward. That was my addition. That wasn't in the original quote, because nothing is so simple right now as to easily mend. But things can be moved forward, not with time, as they say, but with intention. Not with time, but with intention. So go, love intentionally, extravagantly, and unconditionally. The broken world waits in darkness for the light that is you. The broken world waits for the light that is you. So here we are, and as we kind of process the last couple of days, we, when there's sadness, we know we need to look for that light that allows us to move forward and love intentionally, love boldly, care deeply. All right, so now let's get our bodies moving, all right? So we're just gonna start with a little bit of a heart opener right away, all right? So go ahead and walk your hands behind your back. I gotta move my black out of the way. So your fingertips are facing your back side, okay? So you've got this shoulder opener, your shoulders are rolling down and back, fingertips on the ground. If that is comfortable for you, awesome. If not, no worries. All right, and just drop that chin to the chest as you keep those shoulders open, that heart open. And inhale that head center, and then either side, let either your right or left ear float to the corresponding shoulder. If you can keep your fingers behind your back, great. If it's not comfy, go ahead and inhale your head center, and on an exhale, let it float to the other side. And inhale, center, exhale, other side. All right, now let's come center and release it. We're going to do a little lateral movement, just slightly different than we normally do it. Let's plant our left hand down, inhale that right arm up and over, and we are going to move back and forth, okay? So plant the opposite hand down. We're going to move back and forth. Get a little more movement. And we're moving back and forth about 4 or 5 times. Although you'll know I don't count a lot, so who knows, that could have been 6 to 8. All right, now on this last one, inhale that right arm up and let it float over, and really, really bend deeply into that, to whatever level feels good to you. And we're going to hold for a few breaths. Now pull that belly in, release that arm down. Now let's let that left arm go up and over for a deep bend. Again, just some breaths. Put your gaze wherever it's comfortable for you. Awesome, now come back to center. We're going to do this similar movement with our spinal twist. So go ahead and bring those arms up, and we are going to move to the right. Hands come down, through center, to the left. So we're just going to get some movement in our spinal twist first. Okay, about 4, 5, or 6, or 7 on each side. And now when you come through center the last time, now let's go more deeply into that twist. So ground in those sit bones, make sure that spine's long. Gaze out over that back shoulder, the right shoulder, or whichever way you're bending, twisting. Keep breathing, keep that spine long, sit bones grounded in. All right, let's come back through center, go to the other side for a little twist that we're going to hold a little longer. Awesome. Now let's come back through center and find our all fours position. All right, and let's of course move into our cows and cats. If you want to do cows and cats seated, you're welcome to do that as well, right? Either way, we are going to drop that belly, lift that gaze, and now we're going to tuck that tail, tuck that chin. Inhale, drop that belly, lift that gaze. Exhale, round. Tucking the chin, tucking the tail. Inhale into that happy cow. Exhale into that scared cat. I just feel badly for the cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, Halloween cat. Maybe that doesn't sound so bad. All right, now the last time through, go ahead and drop into your cow and just stay there for a moment. Maybe lift your gaze a little bit higher. All right, now push into those hands and we're going to round into the cat and we are going to stay here for a few breaths, right? Creating space. Awesome. All right, let's go ahead and extend that right leg long, but toes curled into the ground. Okay, we've got it long behind us. And we are going to hover our left knee. So when you're ready, go ahead and pull that left knee up, and we're just hovering for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release that down. Come back to your tabletop. Go ahead. Left leg goes long, toes are tucked under, and when you're ready, we're going to hover that right knee for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back to your tabletop. Do a few cows and a few cats. All right, now to open up that hip a little bit, let's go ahead, bring that right leg up. Okay, we're bending it. The sole of the foot is towards the ceiling or wherever you are, right? It's up. All right, and we're just going to do some hip circles. All right, so just do about 3 or 4 hip circles in one direction. If you want to add a blanket under your knees, that's awesome. Maybe after you've done a few in one direction, go ahead and reverse that. That feels good. And once again, my foot is sort of petting my plant here. All right, when you're ready, release that down and go to the other side. So bringing that leg up, bending at the knee, foot is flexed, and then just begin some hip circles. Today we're going to do a lot of hip openers, a lot of finding space, right? Finding space in our hearts so we can move forward. Love with intention. All right, maybe reverse those circles if you've gone in one direction. If one direction feels better than the other one, go ahead and stay there, right? No problem with that. All right, when you're ready, come back to your tabletop. And let's move into the child's pose by bringing our big toes to touch. Knees as wide or even wider than the mat, whatever is more comfortable for you. Let your chest start to come down towards the mat. Walk those hands out. Keeping in mind, you can always place a block for your head to come down in, a blanket or a blanket in the knee pits, either way. Find your version of child's pose and settle in. Take some deep inhales and exhales. This is always that time to reflect and check to see if you've cleaned your mat recently, right? This is the time it becomes readily apparent. Okay, let's walk our hands to the right a little bit, okay, to get that nice lateral stretch. Maybe you put that left hand on top of that right hand and really press in, if you wish. Keep breathing. Now let's come back through the center and let's go in the other direction. So we want that lateral stretch so that left arm is going out a little bit. And again, maybe on the side you want to press that right hand on top of the left hand and really push into that, if that's comfy for you. If not, no worries. If it doesn't feel good, we don't do it. Awesome. Let's get ready to come back through center, come back through all fours. Bring our hands forward a little bit to find that first plank, high plank, knees plank. Okay? We'll be here for just a second. So just find some alignment, push the earth away for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now let's push our hips up and back into that down dog. Now make sure your hands are about the mat distance apart so you have this nice space. Again, creating space to reach in your down dog. Go ahead and pedal out if you'd like to by coming up on all your toes, lowering one foot and the other. Maybe you want to put a really good bend in those knees and bring your belly and your chest closer to your upper thighs. Okay, down dog is about length. We're finding space in our spine, we're creating length. All right, now if you've been in your movement, go ahead and just settle into your down dog for a minute. Really pushing into the knuckles on those fingers. Think of those pickle jars to set your shoulder blades back on your shoulders in case they've crept up. All right, and now let's begin that long journey as we walk forward to find our hands. Find that forward fold. I think I realized my last couple practices, I hardly forward folded at all. I don't have a bias against forward folds, it just didn't come up. But today we fold, all right? So go ahead and forward fold. Don't hesitate to put a good sized bend in those knees, especially if you've been sitting a lot today, or even if you've been gardening or whatever and you just haven't stretched those hamstrings. All right, from here, let's walk our hands up and find our half lift. So think of that long number 7 spine. Shoulders are pulled away from the ears. Keep breathing. Feet are engaged. And release into that forward fold. Now let's bend those knees, circle sweep those arms up. Come into that tall mountain. Exhale into that forward fold. Inhale to your half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend those knees, circle sweep, come up. Exhale into chair, Utkatasana. Find your Utkatasana. And settle in. Keep those toes light. Keep this upper body long, lower body strong. You can always put your hands to heart center if you prefer. Just for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend those knees, circle sweep those arms up. Come up to tall mountain. Exhale to your forward fold. Inhale to your half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend those knees, circle sweep those arms on up. Come up to tall mountain. Hands through heart center. Samastitihi. Awesome. All right. If you are not, let's go ahead and step towards the front of our mat. We are going to step back into our warrior 2 on the right side. So go ahead when you're ready and just carefully lift that left leg up, send it back, and find your warrior 2. All right. Take a moment, do your little, I shouldn't say little, warrior 2 adjustments. Find those strong warrior 2 arms, gaze is over the front middle finger, shoulders are down, they've come up, make sure they come down. Check out that front big toe, make sure you can see it. Now let's flip that palm, reverse that warrior, and let's come all the way through very slowly to peaceful warrior. And hold. Now pull that belly in. We're going to move right on through to extended side angle. Option to keep your hand on your thigh, or go ahead and bring your fingertips down by the arch of your foot on the floor. Again, top hand can be over in this long line of energy. You can be in a bind, you can have it straight up, whatever you prefer. All right, let's push into the feet, pull that belly in, come back up, and straighten that front leg. From here, we're going to move into fierce warrior, all right? So we've got our warrior 2 legs, warrior 2 arms, all right? So from here, we're going to bring our hands through center as we straighten that leg, open up, creating space. Exhale, bring those hands through heart center, push them out into your fierce warrior. Inhale, straighten and open. Exhale, fierce warrior. Really push with those arms as you open into 5-pointed star, as you open into fierce warrior. Again, opening up. Come on through to fierce warrior. Fingertips are towards the sky. Inhale and open. Exhale, fierce warrior. One last time. Inhale, open. Exhale, fierce warrior. All right, let's roll those hands down. Straighten that front leg completely. Slip it on my mat a little bit. Let's move into that reverse triangle, opening up that right side body, creating space. Gaze up to the sky or down your back leg. All right, from here we're going to move right into extended triangle. So we reach forward. Let those hips go out the back and then come on down to your version of triangle. Hand on your knee, on your shin, any place but the knee, right? A block, fingertips on the floor, joint stack. Again, what you need today, what works for you today. We're going to hold for a few breaths. A couple weeks ago I did that practice. It was a Friday practice, and then I released a shorter version of it on YouTube. That is just that static pose. All right, let's pull our belly in, push into those feet, come on back to that warrior 2, where we hold poses long enough, deep enough, until we release. So while we're not doing that today, we'll do that with a couple of poses. Roll your wrists, let your shoulders come on down. Bring those big toes out, heels in to find your 5-pointed star. When you're ready, inhale and open up. And exhale into your goddess. When you come down to your goddess, go ahead and adjust. Make sure your knees and toes are going in the same direction. Okay. Now let's inhale to that 5-pointed star. Exhale to goddess, and let's bring our hands through heart center this time. And maybe we lower just a little bit as we just pulse. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's open up again. And one last time, down into that goddess. Hands through heart center. Now either stay right here if you'd like. Go ahead, lifting one heel, then the other heel. The sun has finally come out. We need sun. Or, if you'd rather lift both heels at one time and balance a little bit, you can do that. Okay, whichever you prefer, just for 3, 2, 1. Let's come into that 5-pointed star. Hold, really open that heart, pull that belly in. Roll those wrists as you bring your hands down. Roll those shoulders. Let's move to warrior 2 on the left side. Or whichever side you didn't do it on. All right. Do your little warrior 2 checklist. Checking for that heel to heel or heel to arch alignment. Gaze out over that front middle finger. Really strong arms, right? When they come out. Just like they're lightning bolts, right? It's like the fingers are sparking. All right, just like we did on the other side, let's flip that front palm, reverse our warrior, but let's go all the way through, if it's comfortable for you, to peaceful warrior. So just creating more of an arc. And breathe. And now come back to that warrior 2. Moving through our fierce warrior. Okay, we're going to Bring our hands down. We bring them up through center. We straighten that leg. We open up. Think five-pointed star with different feet. And as we exhale, we bring those hands through heart center, pushing away, all right? Fingertips to the sky. Inhale and open. Exhale, push. Inhale, open. Exhale, push. Inhale, open. Exhale, push. And one last time, let's inhale, open. Exhale, push. And now let's release those hands down. Moving into the extended side angle on this side. Let's reach forward, letting that front arm come down to that front thigh or down to the floor. We bend deeper into that front leg. Back arm comes up and over or in a bind. Our heart is open. Again, either spot. And breathe. Now let's pull that belly in and come on up. And straighten that front leg. That always feels so good to me when we straighten it kind of for good. All right. Reversing our triangle. Let's lift that left arm up. Open up that left side body. Keep breathing. And now let's move right into extended triangle by reaching, letting that front arm come down to the shin, the floor, the block, wherever you wish, right? Awesome. Keep breathing. All right, now let's push into those feet, pull that belly up, come back into that warrior two. Spark those fingers, let those shoulders come down. Release those wrists as you roll them down. Let's bring our feet parallel or pigeon-toed, slightly pigeon-toed. All right, facing the long edge of our mat. Go ahead and bring the backs of your hands together. Then swing them around and back. Clasp your hands if that's comfy. Roll your shoulders down and back. Open your heart. Now take just a minute here. And when you're ready, let's take a big inhale. And as we exhale, we begin to hinge at the hips, folding forward, letting our clasped hands come over with us if that's comfy. Feel free to stay here for a few breaths. If you'd rather release your hands, you can do that. All right, now lifting from the knuckles, we're going to put a bend in those knees. Come on back up. All right, release your hands. Inhale those arms up high, and on an exhale, we are going to once again dive down into that wide leg forward fold. If you would like to lengthen your stance just a little bit, we will stay here for a few breaths. So if you want your head to fall to the block, the floor, a block, you want your hands between your legs, hands on your ankles, wherever you want them, or just keep them right down where you came down, where they originally came down. It's up to you. But we are going to breathe. Let's go ahead and bring our hands back underneath our face and push our upper body until it's long and flat into that half lift position. If you want to shorten your stance, if it was particularly long, go ahead and do that. Okay, so we're just in this half lift. Let's plant our left hand, sweep our right arm up. And release that one down. Plant the right hand, sweep the left arm up for a little upper body twist. Awesome, let's release that down. And now we slowly roll up, roll up, roll up. Let those shoulders come down and back. Now either heel toe together, all right, or if you wish, just jump together, whichever you prefer. And we meet either in the front of our mat, or you can stay on this side as we just play with a little balance, okay? So like last week, we're gonna start in one-legged mountain, and you can either go to tree, or you can go to standing figure four. So you decide. When you are ready, ground into that left foot. Start bringing the weight off of that right foot and find your one-legged mountain. Okay? Now, either open that one-legged mountain into tree, growing your branches, right? Whichever you prefer. Or take that one-legged mountain, right? Find your drishti and cross it into a figure four. Begin to bend. Send those hips back. Think chair pose. Hands can be at heart center. If you want to bend down into that forward fold, you can do that as well. Still keeping that leg crossed. Okay. My figure four is kind of like a figure four in the wind. All right. Whichever position you're in now, just slowly release that leg, get back into one-legged mountain, and let it come down to the ground. Move those hips side to side. All right, and we'll get ready for the other side. All right, left leg is our standing leg. When you're ready, find your drishti, find your focal point, and begin to move to that one-legged mountain. Now from here, either go ahead and grow into your tree by opening that hip, or if you'd prefer, you're going to bring that right leg across into your standing figure four. Send those hips back, think chair. And if you're in the figure four, maybe you want to go down into that forward fold. For me, the tighter my hips are, the harder it is for my feet to stay in that figure four. Case in point. My hips are very tight today. All right, whichever pose you're in, let's go ahead and find that one-legged mountain one more time and release that down. Just shake that out a little bit. Roll those ankles, roll those toes. And if you aren't already, let's meet at the top of our mat, okay? All right. From here, nice, strong Tadasana. Inhale those arms on up. Really find length in that spine. Exhale into your forward fold. Inhale to your half lift. Exhale, plant your hands and step your left foot back. Sorry, to find your low lunge. All right. Plant your left hand by your right foot and let's open up to that low lunge twist. Wiggle those fingers. Awesome. Frame that front foot. Now we're going to slowly let that knee come to the ground. If you would like to put a blanket under that knee, go ahead. Whoop. I'm not even balancing and I got kind of twisty there. If you want to put a blanket under that knee, go ahead. If that is not comfortable for you to have that knee down, then go ahead and keep that up. All right, we are just going to come into a low lunge with the drop knee. We're going to lean into this hip to open it up. We are going to open up our arms. So we're kind of in a crescent position. Awesome. Now let's bring those hands to frame that front foot. Go ahead and lift that knee off the ground. Okay, so now we're in our typical position getting ready for the high lunge. We are going to root down and rise up from here. So either spin your back foot for warrior one, or just root down and rise up into high crescent lunge. Let those shoulders come down and back. Now go ahead and bring your hands to heart center. And we are just going to open them parallel to the earth. So we're opening towards the right side. Got a little twist going on. Now close that right hand, bring it center, hands to heart center. Right hand comes down on right thigh. The left hand goes up. And we're gently going to do a little lateral bend towards the right side. Little balancing, little lateral bend. You can probably feel that stretch deep in, seriously, goodness gracious. You can feel it deep in your hip today. Man, I thought I was just going to tumble over there. I don't think I'm doing this just to show you that I can tumble over. I really was going to tumble over. All right, hopefully you've come out of that lateral twist or lateral stretch by now since I was talking. Bring that hand back down. Let's frame that front foot and come into our high plank or our knees plank. From here, let's hug those elbows in, lower all the way to the ground to find our head near the ground or on the mat. Hands are flat on the mat. And when you're ready, we're going to inhale and come into that cobra, really pulling those elbows in, keeping those shoulders down and back. Take a few breaths and release down. All right, now this time we're going to come into either cobra or up dog, so you choose. You know what to do if you're coming into cobra. If you're coming into up dog, pull those elbows back. Lift those thighs off the ground, okay? Engage those abs. Keep those shoulders down and back. And when you're ready, we're all gonna meet in that down dog. So flip those toes over and come into your down dog. All right, from here, let's inhale that right leg high. Bend that knee and open that hip. All right, we've got stacked hips. Feel free to roll your ankle if you want. Keep pressing into both of your hands. All right, now close that hip. Set that down. And from here, we are going to move into pigeon on the right side. So if you would like to do it on your back, go ahead and float down right now to get into supine pigeon. Otherwise, inhale that right leg high, bend that knee, bring it through to find your pigeon, okay? Now, when we first get to pigeon, we have all this length. Find this length. Hinge at the hips, fold forward, and just take it over with you down to the ground. Hands can, or forehead can come down to the mat, can come down to a block, stacked fists, whatever you prefer, but we're going to stay here for a few breaths. Keep that back leg engaged. If you are in supine pigeon, you're in your figure 4 on your back. And in your figure 4, you have reached through and threaded the needle by pulling that left leg back towards you, keeping feet flexed and engaged. Keep breathing. whichever pigeon you are in, we are going to make our way back to down dog. So if you are on your back, go ahead and swing your legs around, come back into your all fours, and then your down dog. If you are in down dog, if you're in pigeon, facing the mat, you're going to tuck those toes under, lift that leg high, and let it float down and find your down dog. All right, from here, let's go ahead and lift that left leg high, bend it, open that hip a little bit, roll that ankle, so left hip is opening. Now let's bring it close, and we are going to help it or step it on through to find that low lunge. When we get to that low lunge, let's plant our right hand, sweep that left arm up for that low lunge twist. Wiggle those fingers and come on down. Go ahead and drop that knee if it's comfortable for you. Toes can stay tucked on the back foot or flat on the floor. Go ahead and bring your hands up to your shin, and we are just going to bend into that a little bit, opening that right hip flexor. And then when you're ready, go ahead and inhale those arms up and come into a crescent lunge with your dropped knee. Now let's bring those hands forward to frame that front foot. Tuck those toes under, and we're going to come up to high crescent lunge. So choices of either coming up through warrior one by spinning that back foot and coming on up, or come just right up into high crescent lunge, either way. Find your high crescent lunge. Now go ahead and bring your arms shoulder height, and let's just peel open that left arm for a little twist. And now let's come center. Let's open up into cactus arms just a little bit as long as we're here. And then come back to your high crescent lunge. All right. Let's let those hands come down to frame that front foot. And we are going to step back into our high plank or our knees plank. Oh, yeah, never mind. I realized I forgot a lateral bend. We'll bend a little bit later. From here, we are going to meet in down dog. So either maybe you drop your knees, hug your elbows in, come through cobra, maybe you come through up dog. Either way, we're just going to meet in down dog. Awesome. Take a minute here to pedal out. And now we're going to move to pigeon on the left side. So either inhale that leg high, bend it, help it through to find that pigeon. Or go ahead and spin around to your back. All right. If you're on your back, you're in that figure four, or if you are in pigeon facing forward, please take all this length you have in your upper body and gently hinge at the hips, fold forward, letting your head come towards the mat. Or stacked fist, a block, again, whatever you prefer. Keep that long leg engaged. If you're on your back, you've got that figure four, you're reaching through to thread the needle, opening that up. Breathing. Pigeon, like we've talked about before, right? Pigeon is such an easy pose to hold your breath. Keep that breath going. And in just a minute, we're going to come out of pigeon. So if you are on your back, when you're ready, go ahead and swing those legs around. All right. If you are in prone extension. You're going to curl those toes under as you lift that upper body. Come back into that three-legged dog. Do a little bit of a stretch. Let that left leg come down. Walk out that dog just a little bit. Final down dog. Do some stretching. Opening in the shoulders. All right, now we are going to slowly walk our hands forward. No, our feet forward to meet our hands. It's okay if you walk your hands back. And then we are going to walk our hands toward our feet. Goodness gracious. I think I should have had a little more caffeine, a little more tea. Okay, so we are standing. You can stay crouched down. You stay crouched down. We've got our hands on the ground. We've got our toes basically off our mat a little bit. We're going to move into a yogi squat. So we want our heels in, our toes out. We've got our feet about the distance of the mat. Okay. If you were still down, even better, right? Because you're just gonna rotate a little bit coming into your version of a yogi squat. Those elbows are gonna push into your knees. That upper body is gonna stay long and lifted. Another option always in yogi squat, okay, is to place that block underneath you and come down to the block. And again, focus on opening those hips, keeping that spine long. All right, either option, awesome. Again, if this is not comfortable for your knees, then we want you to come right down more into a butterfly. All right, so if you've got a block there, go ahead and release that. Let your hands come behind you to catch you as you come down to the mat. Awesome. Now we're going to take a minute or two to move into a couple boat poses, all right? So, I mean, as long as we're seated, right, it makes sense. So feet, knees are bent, feet are flat on the ground. Spine is really long. When you're ready, go ahead and lean back just a little bit. Let those toes, maybe one foot come off the mat or both. And then arms can be at heart center. Out in front of you can stay behind your thighs. Whatever you prefer, we're just keeping that spine long for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now let's roll forward. Just cross your legs in a seated position and let your upper body just fold forward as far as it wants to come down towards the mat. Feel that deep hip stretch. Take a moment to notice whatever leg is in front, because when we come back to this, we'll reverse it and put the other leg in front. Now let's slowly roll up. Find that length in the spine. Get our feet ready for bridge position. Bend those knees again. Arms can be under, hands can be under. Lift one leg or the other. Tap, okay? Arms, whatever position works best for you. Upper body, we're trying to keep real long and lifted. All right, for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, whichever leg you put first, try to reverse that. Typically, your dominant one is the one you do first, and then you just want to reverse that to get a little different stretch in your hips. All right, let's tuck that chin, roll up, and now let's go ahead. Let our left leg belong, not belong like it belongs there. Well, it does belong there. Belong. And then let's bend that right knee, foot flat on the floor. We're going to do a little sage twist. So we've got our right knee sort of hugged towards our chest. We're going to wrap our left arm around that right knee. And then we're going to inhale that right arm up. And then on the exhale, let it float down and behind to really open and twist. Now keep breathing. let's release back center. Let that right arm belong. Bend that left knee, foot flat on the floor. Take that right arm, wrap it around that left knee. Left arm, we inhale up, and on an exhale, we just open up, sending it down behind us. For a sage twist, you can be on your fingertips, on your palm. Awesome. Let's release that. Come on back center. And adjust yourself on your mat right now so you won't run out of mat when you roll down. Unless you're long like me, then sometimes you just run out of your mat. All right, find that long spine. Find those nice long sit bones. Inhale those arms up. On the exhale, bring them forward. Clasp your hands. And pull that belly in as you slowly roll down. As slowly as you can. Option always is to bend. Bend your knees. Okay. Once you get down, if your room is big enough, go into that full body stretch. Okay, finding that length over your head, stretch your toes. Now, let's bend our knees, keep our feet flat on the floor, and we are just going to let our knees float open into Supta Baddha Konasana, okay? So kind of like opening the pages on a book. Just going to let those knees float open. And breathe. Now go ahead and close those knees. Hug your knees to your chest, so we're in that tight little round ball. Rocking side to side. Now, either begin to release, moving into your Shavasana, or if you wish, go ahead and reach through to find your happy baby or your dead bug, keeping this long spine on the mat, feet as if they're standing on the ceiling. Think of Lionel Richie, right? Dancing on the ceiling. You have to be a certain age to remember that, don't you? And that might be your earworm for the night. All right. Go ahead and bring your knees into your chest. If you have any other stretches you want to do, go ahead and put those in. Otherwise, we're going to take a few breaths, a few moments to just release into that Shavasana. Okay? So let your shoulders be heavy, let your head be heavy. Feel free to close your eyes, let your feet open. Find that length. Take some nice cleansing breaths. And we'll stay here for just a minute or so. So just let yourself release. Now begin to just bring a little movement, maybe to your fingers, maybe to your toes, maybe your jaw. Slowly roll to one side or the other. bring yourself up to your version of seated. And when you're ready, feel free to inhale those arms up high. Find that length in your spine. Capture that light and bring it into your heart as you bring your hands to heart center. Again, do not be dismayed, right? Do not be dismayed by the brokenness, because things break. But we will move them forward with intention, with love, with passion, for creating a place where all are valued for the light they bring, all are valued, period, right? Rumi has a quote, "If everything around you seems dark, look again. You may be the light." The light in me honors, appreciates, and is lifted by the light in each and every one of you. Namaste. All right, love intentionally, love extravagantly. The world waits for the light that is you. Bye, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. That sounds like we're on, I don't know, Mr. Rogers or something. Thanks for stopping by the house, right? Thanks for stopping by to practice today and connect virtually. And Friday morning, we are trying a class in the park at 10. And we will also put that on Facebook Live. So if you want to come to the live class in the park, feel free to go to the YMCA Red Wing website, sign up. If you prefer to just practice virtually or you want to watch this at a later date, awesome, no worries about that, because that will be available as well. We're just trying to experiment with some things. That one is limited to 9 people in socially distanced spots, of course, right? So we're just trying to meet a variety of needs and see what works best for everybody. Also, if you know anyone that is interested in chair yoga, starting next week, on Wednesday and Friday mornings at 9, I will be going, well, I was going to say live, but I guess sort of live, on Zoom for chair yoga. So if you know somebody that is interested in that, or you're interested in that, just email me at sheilabeckner@yahoo.com, and that's on the YMCA, I think it's on the YMCA website, as well as my little Yoga with Sheila B page. So just email me so I can get your email and get you the Zoom invitation. Or again, share that information out, the more the merrier, right? On Zoom, we can have a gazillion people. Again, thanks everybody for coming out and practice. Thanks for being the light you are, bringing the light to the darkness. Wow, that's awesome. Thank you. Good night, everybody. And goodbye.